Welcome back to the practice session, and we are just under an hour away from the end. With Jareth Hallam still to set a lap time.
Sometimes that can be a strategic move, waiting for track conditions to improve. But you always want to get out there and get a feel for the car as early as possible. Acque Minerali is a challenging downhill section, and Daniel Coaches will be keen to get his first timed lap in, but he'll want to get it right there first time.
Niall Keegan is currently making his way through the Variante del Tamburello, yet to put a time on the board with just over 55 minutes remaining.
Tamburello is deceptively fast, and getting that initial confidence through there for your first flying lap is crucial. You want to push, but not overdo it.
Jareth Hallam remains without a timed lap, navigating Variante Alta now, as the clock ticks down to just under 55 minutes left in practice.
Variante Alta is a very quick chicane, easy to lose time or even go wide if you're not fully dialed in, especially when you're still looking for that first benchmark.
Still no time on the board for Jimmy Lindo as he's currently navigating the twists and turns of Acque Minerali. Daniel Coaches has put in the first competitive time of the session, a 1:44.560, straight to the top of the leaderboard. Jimmy Lindo is still out there, yet to register a lap time as we approach 53 minutes remaining. Niall Keegan has logged his first time of the session, 1:46.663, placing him in third as he makes his way through Piratella.
Piratella is a fantastic corner, a really fast downhill left-hander. Getting that first time on the board is always a relief, a benchmark to build on.
Jimmy Lindo still searching for a competitive lap time, with the clock now showing just over 52.5 minutes left in practice.
It can be frustrating when you're out there and haven't put a lap in yet. You're eager to get that first benchmark down, but you can't rush it.
Jareth Hallam has finally posted a time, a 1:46.219, sliding him into second position as he goes through Variante Alta.
That's a solid first effort. Getting a decent banker lap in means you can then start to push and experiment. But you always want that initial time to be competitive.
Daniel Coaches still holds the top spot with his 144.560, navigating Acque Minerali once more, maintaining his pace at the front.
Once you set that benchmark, it's about consistency, and then finding those extra tenths. Acque Minerali is where you can easily gain or lose that momentum.
Niall Geoghegan holds on to third with his 146.663. As we dip below the 51-minute mark in this practice session,
He'll be looking to shave off a few tenths on his next run, I'm sure. It's about building confidence and understanding how the car reacts to the track.
Daniel Coaches continues to lead the way with his 144.560, now making his way through Variante del Tamburello, still looking very strong. Martin Mol is still to put a time on the board, currently in the Ravazza 1 section, with just under 50 minutes remaining.
Ravazza 1 is a tricky braking zone, very easy to lock up. For your first lap, you really want to get that right and carry the speed through the corner.
Jareth Hallam improves his time, a 144.938, slotting him into second as he navigates the Variante Villeneuve, just shy of the leader. Martin Mol is still without a timed lap, currently going through the Variante Villeneuve with just over 49 minutes left. Niall Geoghegan has improved his time to a 145.970, placing him in fourth as he enters Ravazza 1. Daniel Coaches now in second, but still holding on to that 144.560 as the times continue to tumble. Niall Geoghegan holds his fourth position. That 145.970 is still his best, with just under 48 minutes remaining. Daniel Coaches remains in second position with his 144.560 as the field begins to close in around him.
Maintaining that top time when others are on fresh tires and pushing hard is a challenge. You have to decide when to push again, or wait for the track to rubber in more.
Martin Mull is still without a time on the board. A bit of a concern now with just over 46.5 minutes left. Holds on to second position with his 144.560, currently in the Tosa section with just over 46 minutes remaining.
Tosa is a tricky hairpin, a real test of braking and turn-in. Even if your time is competitive, you're always trying to perfect those critical corners.
Josh Mitchell is another driver yet to set a lap time, with the session now under 45.5 minutes left.
This late in the session, without a time, you start to feel the pressure. You need to get out there and get a feel for the car and the track before it's too late.
Still sitting in second. His 144.560 lap holding strong as we dip below 45 minutes. Martin Mull finally puts in a lap time, and it's a strong one. A 144.776 puts him straight into third position.
That's an excellent first lap. To come out and set a time that competitive straight away shows confidence and a good understanding of the track.
Jimmy Lindo blasts to the top of the standings, a fantastic 143.689, putting him in first position as he navigates the Variante Villeneuve.
That's a serious lap time. To find that pace this early in the session to clear the field by almost a second shows he's found a real rhythm.
Josh Mitchell is still out there, yet to set a lap time, currently making his way through Acque Minerali with just over 43 minutes left.
You really want to get that initial lap in, especially in a section like Acque Minerali, where a small mistake can cost you a lot of time on a flying lap.
Nigel Walters is another driver we're waiting for to post a time as he drives through the Variante del Tamburello. Martin Mull with an incredible lap, a 142.615, absolutely flying to take the top spot as he goes through the Variante Villeneuve.
That's a phenomenal improvement. To find that sort of pace immediately after his first lap, it means he's extracting everything from the car and track. That's how you make a statement in practice.
Josh Mitchell is still searching for a time, now navigating Piratella with under 42 minutes left on the clock. Jimmy Lindo now in second position with his 143.689 as Martin Mull has pushed ahead at the top. Martin Mull continues to lead the way. His 142.615 still the benchmark with just over 40 minutes remaining. Daniel Koch is now in fourth, at 144.560, being eclipsed by some quicker times. Darren Nickel has posted a 144.817, placing him in fifth position as he navigates the Variante Villeneuve. Jimmy Lindo improves again, a 143.464, narrowing the gap to Mull at the top, currently in the Tosa section.
He's really pushing now. Finding nearly a quarter of a second in one lap means he's getting more out of the car. Tosa is where you can easily make up time if you nail the entry and exit.
Josh Mitchell is still yet to register a lap time, with the session moving into its final 39 minutes. Jimmy Lindo holds firm in second, that 143.464 still his best, just a few tenths off the leader. Adam Tyus is another driver yet to put a time on the board, with less than 38 minutes left in practice. Jareth Hallam moves into third, improving his time to a 144.202 as he navigates Piratella. Maximilian Turbin is on track, but still searching for his first timed lap, currently in the Variante Villeneuve section.
You want to get a time in quickly, but not at the expense of putting the car into a difficult situation. Villeneuve can be quite tricky.
Daniel Koshies now slips to fourth with his 144.560 being overtaken by Hallam. Maximilian Turbin continues without a time on the board, with just under 36 minutes left in the session. Tim Weller is another driver we're yet to see a time from, currently making his way through Ravazza 1. Adam Taya still without a lap time, now in the Tosa section as the clock continues to count down.
Tosa is a real challenge to get right. If you're on an outlap and trying to feel the car, it's easy to make a small error that costs you on your next flying lap.
Still no lap time for Josh Mitchell, with just over 34 minutes left in this practice session.
This is getting critical for Mitchell. You really need to put a lap in soon, just to get some data and feel for the track.
Jareth Hallam improves again at 143.792, keeping him in third as he navigates Aki Minerali. Martin Mall improves his own best time to a 142.221, but that now places him in second position, showing how fast the track has become. Jimmy Lindo also improves a 143.345, moving him to third, but the battle at the top is incredibly close. Nigel Walters is still looking for his first-timed lap, making his way through the Variante Villeneuve with 31.5 minutes left.
There's a lot of pressure when you haven't set a time this deep into practice. You want to push, but you can't afford a mistake on your first flying lap.
Jimmy Lindo continues to find pace, a 142.795 now, putting him into third position as he navigates Tosa.
He's consistently chipping away at the times. Tosa is where you can really feel the balance of the car, and he's clearly got it working for him.
Niall Geoghegan drops to sixth position, despite improving his time to a 144.438, showing how competitive this session is becoming.
Even when you improve your time, if others are finding more pace, you can fall down the order. It's a constant push to find those extra tenths.
Niall's last lap was a 143.705, aiming to shave off some seconds here.
Niall is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
Adam Tyus finally sets a flying lap, and it's a strong one. A 143.185 puts him into fourth position. Jimmy Lindo holds on to third, that 142.795, still a very respectable time.
He's been very consistent in improving his times, but with others pushing, he'll need to find even more if he wants to challenge for the top.
Josh Mitchell is still searching for a lap time, with just over 28 minutes left in this practice session. Darren Nickel has dropped to ninth. His 144.817 no longer good enough for a higher spot as he goes through Variante del Tamburello. Aidan McKenna is on track, but still without a time, currently making his way through Piratella. Nigel Walters finally on the board, and what a lap! A 142.456 places him straight into third position.
That's an impressive first lap. To come out and be that competitive immediately shows he's found the rhythm and confidence to push hard.
Adam Tyus is now in fifth position with his 143.185, currently navigating the Variante Villeneuve.
He's made a strong start with that first lap, and now it's about finding those marginal gains. Villeneuve is a place where you can definitely fine-tune your line.
Darren Nickel has dropped another spot, now 10th with his 144.817 as he goes through the Tosa hairpin. Philip Koons logs his first time, a 143.319, putting him into 6th position as he exits the Variante del Tamburello.
That's a very respectable first effort, straight into the top half of the field. Tamburello is a high-speed entry to a complex. Getting that right is key.
Jimmy's last lap was a 340.167, aiming to shave off some seconds here. Darren Nickel continues to slide down the order, now in 11th, as other drivers post faster times. Tim Weller has finally put a time on the board, a 146.715, placing him in 13th for now. Adam Tyus now in 6th, his 143.185 being eclipsed by more rapid laps from other competitors. Tim Weller has dropped to 14th, his initial time not holding up against the improving field as he navigates the Variante Villeneuve.
It's always tough when you put in a time and then immediately see yourself fall down the order. He'll need to find some significant pace on his next run.
Now, several laps into the session, Aiden McKenna looks to refine their line and timing.
As the session progresses, Aiden McKenna is dialing in, looking more confident with each lap.
Niall Giagingan drops further down to 9th, his 143.705, not quick enough to keep him higher up the leaderboard.
He's going to need to dig deep and find some serious pace on his next run. The track is getting faster, and everyone else is finding performance. Maximilian Turbin absolutely flies. A 141.630 straight to the top of the timesheets. That's a phenomenal lap, showing real confidence through a challenging section like Acque Minerali.
James Allen has put in a 145.278, currently placing him in 13th position as we enter the final 2 minutes.
That's a solid first effort, but he'll know he needs to find a lot more pace. You use that as your baseline, and then start pushing the limits.
Josh Mitchell finally on the board. A 143.603 puts him into 8th position, a good first effort. Nigel Walters improves, a 142.296, moving him up to 3rd, continuing his strong showing. Dominic Fovark is another driver we're still waiting to see a time from, with under 19 minutes left in practice. Jimmy Lindo holds 4th with his 142.795, currently going through the Variante Villeneuve, looking to find more pace. Tim Weller continues to fall down the order, now in 15th, as the other drivers are finding more speed. Darren Nickel now in 14th, his 144.817 still standing as his best, but clearly not enough.
He needs to get out there and push. At this stage of practice, you need to show what you've got or you risk being left behind when it comes to qualifying.
Nigel's last lap was a 142.296, aiming to shave off some seconds here. Dominic Fovark still without a lap time, a concern as we dip below the 16-minute mark. Nigel Walters remains in third position, his 1:42.296, still a very competitive time.
Competing at VVS for over 5 years now, make Martin one of the veterans.
Thomas Kruger Dorado is on track, but has yet to register a lap time, making his way through Piratella. Martin Mole now drops to third. His 1:42.221 still his best as he navigates the Piratella section.
Even with a strong time, the field is so competitive that you can easily drop. He's still finding his limits through quick corners like Piratella.
Phil Botkin lugs his first lap, a 1:43.008. A very solid effort, putting him straight into sixth. Dominic Fovargo is still without a lap time. Now under 13 minutes remaining. He needs to get going. Phil's last lap was a 7:15.563, aiming to shave off some seconds here.
Phil is really starting to push now, analyzing every sector for potential improvements.
McKenna just clocked 1:51.721. Can they improve on this lap?
As the session progresses, Aiden McKenna is dialing in, looking more confident with each lap.
James Allen improves his time to a 1:43.632, moving him up to ninth position as he goes through Variante Villeneuve. Thomas Kruger Dorado is still without a time, now with under 11 minutes remaining in this practice session.
This is getting really tight for him. You need to get that initial feel for the car and track, and the clock is definitely against him now.
Philip Koons improves his time to a 1:43.012, placing him in 7th as he navigates the Variante del Tamburello.
He's consistently finding marginal gains, which is what you want to see. Each lap, he's getting more out of the car and understanding the circuit.
Maximilian's last lap was a 4:41.878, aiming to shave off some seconds here.
As the session progresses, Maximilian Turbin is dialing in, looking more confident with each lap.
Daniel Kosick has set a best lap time of 1:44.560 so far. Martin Moll holds onto 3rd position with his 1:42.221, looking solid in the top 3. Now, several laps into the session, Aidan McKenna looks to refine their line and timing. Adams' last lap was a 1:44.407, aiming to shave off some seconds here. Aidan McKenna remains in 16th with his 1:46.576, struggling for pace as he enters Piratella.
Piratella is a high-speed corner where confidence is key. If you're not fully comfortable with the car, it's easy to lose time there.
Thomas Kruger Dorado still yet to set a lap time, with now only just over 6.5 minutes remaining. This is getting very late. Adam Tyus continues in 9th, his 1:43.185 his best, as he navigates the quick Piratella corner. Jarrett Hallam improves to a 1:43.748, but still drops to 12th position as he tackles the Variante Alta. Martin Mol drops to fourth position, his 142.221, now being challenged by the drivers finding even more pace. Aiden McKenna remains in 16th. His 146.576 time still his best, with less than 4.5 minutes left. Jareth Hallam holds on to 12th. That 143.748, still his fastest lap of the session. Jimmy Lindo slips to 6th, his 142.795 no longer holding a top 5 spot as he navigates Variante del Tamburello. Nico Vaughn is still out there, yet to set a lap time, now making his way through Variante del Tamburello with under 3 minutes remaining.
This is incredibly late for a first-timed lap. You'd be rushing, trying to get a feel for the car, but also needing to push hard immediately. It's a huge ask.
Philip Koons drops to 10th position, his 143.012 being surpassed as the session draws to a close. Dominic Fovargo finally gets a time on the board, a 143.729, placing him in 12th position. Jimmy Lindo continues to drop down the order, now in 8th with his 142.795 as he rounds the Tosa hairpin. Adam Tyus with a late charge, 141.466, jumping up to second position with less than a minute left.
What a lap from Tyus, pulling that out right at the end of the session. That shows he's found a real sweet spot with the car when it counts.
Dominic Fovarg remains in 14th, his 143.729 lap time holding as the final seconds tick away, currently in the Variante Villeneuve. Jamie Price has posted a 142.978, slotting him into 11th position with moments left in the session. Joel Lemrich is still out there, yet to set a lap time, now in Tosa with the clock running down fast. That's a very tight window for him. Philip Koons improves his time to a 142.706, but that only puts him into 9th position, showing just how tight it is out there.
In these final minutes, every 10th counts. You're pushing everything, trying to find those last bits of performance before the flag drops.
Joel Lemrich is still without a timed lap, with just 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in this practice session.
This is incredibly late in the session. He'll need to go flat out from the moment he crosses the line. There's no time to build up to it now.
Welcome to Imola OSRW for qualifying. The wind speed and 8 out on track today, it could be a factor. Qualifying is underway, and with 9 minutes and 46 seconds remaining, Jimmy Lindo is yet to post a time. Nine minutes 14 on the clock, and Phil Bodkin is still waiting to set a lap time.
He's probably biding his time, looking for a clear track, maybe hoping for the optimum temperature window for his tires.
Martin Mol is currently in the Piratella section, still searching for a clear run to set his first qualifying time, 8 minutes 42 left. Thomas Kruger Dorado is making his way through Ravazza 2. No time on the board yet, with just over 8 minutes remaining. Still no time from Jimmy Lindo, with 8 minutes, 2 seconds left in qualifying. Lindo crosses the line, but that's not a representative lap time. Still P21. 6 minutes, 44 seconds remaining. Thomas Kruger Dorado. Still no lap time on the board. 6 minutes, 35 seconds left in the session.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. You're looking for that perfect window, but you also can't afford to waste any more time getting a banker lap in.
And Thomas Kruger Dorado puts in a 1:41.669 that puts him straight to the top of the leaderboard.
That's a strong first flying lap. You always want to get a solid time in early, set the benchmark, and then push from there. Gives you confidence.
Daniel Kostis still without a time. 6 minutes, 2 seconds left in qualifying. James Allen still to register a time with 5 minutes, 56 remaining. Nigel Walters flying through Variante Villeneuve, 0.12 seconds up on his best time. He's currently P6.
He's finding pace early in this lap. Those crucial tenths make all the difference, especially when you're trying to push past the mid-pack.
James Allen is in the Tosa section. Still no time on the board with 5 minutes, 27 seconds left.
He needs to get a move on. I know from experience that a clear track is gold, but sometimes you just have to take what you're given and put a lap in.
Phil Bodkin is in Piratella, yet to set a time. 5 minutes, 14 remaining.
This late into the session without a time. It's a risky strategy. Any small mistake or traffic, and you're really up against it.
James Allen is navigating Acque Minerali, but still no time from him. 5 minutes, 2 seconds left. Nigel Walters is absolutely flying. Already 0.15 seconds up on his best lap and looking to improve from P8. Just under 5 minutes remaining.
Every tenth counts, especially now. He's finding the grip and carrying the speed where it matters. This is where you really have to focus and execute perfectly.
Nigel Walters improves his time to a 1:43.626, but he stays in P8 with 4 minutes, 17 seconds left. Jamie Price, P6, on a flying lap, effectively matching his best time with 4 minutes, 8 seconds remaining.
That's how tight it is out there. Every millimeter, every brake application has to be spot on just to replicate your best, let alone improve it.
Darren Nickel, currently P9, is just 100th of a second off his best time, 3 minutes 51 remaining. Nico Vaughn, no time on the board yet, with 3 minutes 45 seconds to go. Nico Vaughn gets a time in, a 1:43.199, which puts him into P9, 3 minutes 36 remaining.
Finally, he's on the board. That's a decent time for a first attempt, puts him in a competitive position right away.
Jareth Hallam is in Ravazza 2. Still no time on the board with 3 minutes 22 seconds left. Hallam crosses the line, but that's not a representative lap time. Still in P20, 3 minutes 10 remaining.
He'll need to find something quickly. With time running out, he desperately needs to put a proper lap together.
Nigel Walters is absolutely flying. He's 0.78 seconds up on his best lap, currently P11 with under 3 minutes to go. Nigel Walters improves again, a 1:43.000, moving him up to P8, 2 minutes 35 seconds remaining. Maximilian Turbin, already P1, is on a sensational lap, 0.11 seconds up on his own best time, with 2 minutes 26 seconds remaining.
To find even more time when you're already on pole shows real commitment. He's not resting on his laurels, he wants to put it out of reach.
Nico Vaughn through Rivazza 2, 0.39 seconds up on his best, currently P10 with just over 2 minutes left.
He's really pushing hard on this final sector. It's all about carrying that momentum and getting a clean exit from those last corners.
Tim Weller, still no time on the board and the clock is ticking down, 1 minute 48 seconds remaining.
This is it for him, the very last chance. You're trying to find clean air, keep the tires warm, and still extract every ounce of performance. It's incredibly difficult under this kind of pressure.
Jareth Hallam, still P20, has not yet set a representative lap time, 1 minute 31 seconds left. Thomas Kruger-Dorado is flying through Ac Minerali, a massive 0.66 seconds up on his P2 time with just 1 minute 22 seconds remaining.
That is an absolutely phenomenal lap if he holds it together. Finding that kind of pace at the very end of a session is what champions are made of. He's really going for it.
Thomas Kruger-Dorado takes P1 with an incredible 1:41.215. Just 33 seconds left on the clock. Phil Bodkin is in Rivazza 1, still without a time. Only 24 seconds remaining in this session. Phil Bodkin gets a time in, a 1:42.271, moving him into P6 right at the death. Just 7 seconds remaining. Philip Koons, currently P6, is matching his best time as the clock ticks down to just 1 second. Josh Mitchell is flying through Piratella, 0.29 seconds up on his best time, currently P9, but with only 10 seconds left. Josh Mitchell improves dramatically to a 1:42.071, jumping up to P6. There's 1 minute 6 seconds left on the clock. Chris Stokes in Rivazza 2 is absolutely flying. 0.55 seconds up on his P16 best time, 1 minute 15 seconds left.
That's an incredible improvement for this late in the session. He's really found something on this lap. He'll be desperate to hold it for a big jump up the order.
Phil Bodkin is just 1/100th of a second up on his best time, currently P8, with 1 minute 33 seconds left on the clock.
He's really pushing, trying to find those tiny increments. Even 100th can make the difference when the grid is this tight.
Welcome to a blustery Imola OSRW circuit. The tension is palpable as we await the green flag. Thomas Kruger Dorado, the Pro-Am driver from the UK, starts on pole position in his GT Ferruccio 55 V12. Right alongside him, it's Maximilian Turbin, the AM-class competitor from England, in his GT Shadow V8. Martijn Mol, the Pro-class driver from the Netherlands, lines up in third, driving a GT Shadow V8.
Third place is a strong starting spot, especially for a pro driver. It's all about making that first corner count from there.
And in fourth, we have Adam Tyus, another AM-class driver from England, piloting a GT Ferruccio 55 V12. Jareth Hallam, Pro-Am class from the UK, starts from fifth in his GT Ferruccio 55 V12.
P5 is a great position to be in for the opening laps. You're out of the immediate first corner scrum, but close enough to capitalize on any early mistakes.
Josh Mitchell, the AM-class driver from Italy, is in sixth, driving the GT Ferruccio 55 V12.
He'll be looking to make some early moves. Starting further back, you often have a bit more freedom to choose your line into turn 1.
Rounding out our top 8, we have Phil Bodkin from England, another AM-class driver in a GT Ferruccio 55 V12.
He's got his work cut out for him from P8, but this car has shown it can deliver. It's all about consistency in the first few laps.
Nico Vaughn in position 9, driving a GT Ferruccio 55 V12, an AM-class driver.
From P9, he'll be aiming to stay clean and pick off any drivers who get tangled up ahead. The start is crucial.
Nigel Walters, AM-class driver from the UK, starts in 11th in his GT Shadow V8.
He's got a strong car for this track. The Shadow V8 can be very competitive, especially in these conditions.
In 12th position, we have Dominic Fauvargue, a Pro-Am class driver from the UK, behind the wheel of a GT Lanzo V12. Starting from 13th on the grid is a decent position for Darren Nicol, all things considered. James Allen, a Pro-Am class driver from the UK, starts 14th in his GT Tornado V12.
The Tornado V12 is a handful, but in the right hands, it can really fly. He's got some ground to make up, but it's not impossible.
Niall Geoghegan, the AM class driver from Ireland, is in 15th, piloting a GT Shadow V8.
He's starting a bit further back, but the Shadow V8 has shown it can carve through the field. He'll need a strong opening lap.
Chris Stokes, a Pro class driver from England, starts down in 16th in his GT Shadow V8. Tim Weller, AM class from the UK, starts from 17th in his GT Ferruccio 55 V12.
He's got a fast car, but starting from the back here at Imola means he'll need to be aggressive but smart, especially through the first chicane.
And the lights are out. The race is officially underway, but we're starting with a formation lap under the safety car.
It's a good chance for everyone to get some heat into their tires, especially with this wind, and check track conditions before we go green.
The safety car leads the field around Imola, a crucial warm-up lap for all the competitors.
This isn't just a parade. Drivers are scrubbing tires, checking braking points, and feeling out how the car is reacting to this cooler air.
They'll be looking for any standing water, any debris, just getting a feel for the circuit.
Exactly. Every little detail matters, especially when you're preparing for a full-on sprint race start. You want those tires absolutely perfect.
The cars are strung out behind the safety car, keeping a steady pace.
They'll be trying to get as much heat into those brakes and tires as possible. It's a fine balance not to overheat them either.
The field is looking composed behind the safety car, waiting for the signal to go racing.
It's an intense wait. You're ready to go, but you have to hold back. That mental discipline is key before the green flag drops.
As watch the drivers roll around on the formation lap, let's remember it's not just about the drivers. The teams will be monitoring their cars closely, making sure everything is running smoothly.
It's a high-pressure situation, and a poor start could put you at a disadvantage for the entire race.
They need to maintain concentration waiting for those green lights.
Safety car in this lap.
During the formation lap, the teams will also be keeping a close eye on their drivers, ensuring everything is running smoothly.
The formation lap can also be a great opportunity to spot any issues with the car or track conditions.
With the clock ticking down to the start of the race, the drivers will need to maintain their positions and gaps on the grid.
Every driver will be looking to make their move early on.
All eyes are on the lights. As the drivers make their way around the formation lap, tensions are high and excitement is palpable.
This is the moment where they need to stay focused and keep their cool.
Every move they make, every decision they take, could have a major impact on their chances of success in this race.
It's a real test of their mental and physical preparation.
Green, 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 let's go.
The safety car is indeed pulling off. The field is tightening up behind pole sitter Kruger Dorado.
This is where every driver is jumping that track, getting ready for the surge. The revs will be climbing high on the grid.
Any second now, the lights will go out and we'll have a racing start here at Imola.
Hold on to your hats. It's all about precision now, finding that perfect fight point as the green flag drops.
And the lights are out. We are green at Imola. What a start. We're picking up Aidan McKenna now in P21, closely trailing his long-standing rival Jimmy Lindo, who's just 4 tenths ahead in P20.
That's a fifth battle unfolding already. To be that close with such a small gap, it means neither driver is giving an inch this early on.
What an opening to the race. Everyone got away relatively clean, but you can already feel the intensity building.
Absolutely, those first few corners are always the wildest. As a driver, you're constantly weighing risk versus reward, trying to gain positions without taking unnecessary chances.
It looked like Kruger Dorado had a strong initial getaway from pole, holding his lead.
That's the key from pole, isn't it? Just get a clean run and defend your line. You don't want to get swallowed up by the pack.
And we're seeing some great close-quarter racing already, even with everyone still settling in.
This is where the race can really be won or lost, particularly in these early laps. Finding your rhythm while battling for position is a real art.
We're with Darren Nickel now in P14 on lap 1, hounding Joel Lemrich, who is just a tenth ahead in P13.
That's an incredibly close fight already. At these speeds, being just a tenth behind means you're almost in the slipstream, ready to pounce.
And Darren Nickel has made the move. He's now into P13, with Joel Lemrich right on his gearbox. That was incredibly close. And it's all changed again. Joel Lemrich has regained the position, now with a 0.7-second gap to Darren Nickel in P14.
That's how quickly positions can switch in a battle like this. One small mistake, or a well-executed move, and the dynamics...
Yellow flag, safety car's out.
And we have a safety car. A big incident somewhere on track has brought out the yellow flags.
You can feel the entire rhythm of the race change instantly. Drivers will be backing off, looking for the safety car, and trying to get temperature into their tires without overdoing it.
That's certainly going to bunch up the field, erasing any gaps that had already started to form.
It's frustrating when you've just made a good move, but it's also an opportunity for those further back. You quickly switch from attacking to maintaining focus and tire temps.
Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
They're going to need to look after their tires, and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete, and the handling changes.
Don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
We are under the safety car. It's all about finding that sweet spot and keeping your wits about you.
And while it's not ideal for the fans, there's something undeniably thrilling about seeing the safety car out on track. It adds an element of unpredictability and keeps everyone on the edge of their seats.
Let's hope we can get this debris cleared quickly and get back to the racing action. During your racing career, Sky, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Hal. I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
And we have the safety car out, which means the drivers need to be extra cautious now.
It's a real game changer, with drivers needing to adjust their strategies and try to find ways to gain an advantage.
It's also a bit of a break for the drivers, giving them a chance to catch their breath and regroup before the action kicks off again. In your experience, Sky, what was the most important aspect of managing tire degradation during a race?
The most important aspect, Hal, was maintaining a good balance between pushing hard and conserving tires. Finding the sweet spot between aggression and tire preservation was key to optimizing race pace and strategy.
The safety car is in play.
Let's not forget about the physical challenge of driving behind the safety car. The drivers need to keep their tires and brakes up to temperature to be ready to attack when the safety car comes in.
It's a real test of skill and endurance for these drivers, but that's why they're the best in the business. Let's see how this plays out. Drivers are showing their mettle today. It's a privilege to witness their skill on this challenging track.
The stakes have never been higher. This is a battle of skill and nerves.
That's right. These drivers are really pushing themselves to the limit, and it's incredible to see the level of determination they're bringing to the track.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of courage to compete at this level, and these drivers have it in spades. Let's hope they can keep it up and give us a race to remember.
The safety car is out on track, bringing the pack under control as we deal with some debris on the circuit.
This could be an opportunity for some drivers to pit ahead of the pack.
Of course, the safety car can really shake up the race order. Drivers need to stay alert and be ready to react as soon as we get the green light.
It's a tricky balance. They don't want to waste too much time behind the safety car, but they also don't want to burn out their tires too quickly trying to catch up.
As a former racing driver, Sky, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Hal. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
There's been an incident, and we have a safety car, but it's all part of the game. And the drivers and teams will have to find a way to adapt to the situation.
And who knows, this could be a blessing in disguise for some of the drivers who were struggling earlier in the race. They now have a chance to regroup and make a comeback when the safety car finally comes back in.
It's all up in the air, and that's what makes this sport so exciting. The excitement is palpable. This is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
The safety car is out on the track, and the drivers are slowing down to keep their positions.
This is where strategy comes into play. Do you pit now and risk losing track position? Or do you stay out
Safety
and
car
work
in
quick
this
and get
lap.
to the safety car period?
It's a tough call for the teams and drivers to make. The safety car is pulling into the pits. We are about to go green again here at Imola.
This is it. Every driver will be holding their breath, getting ready to launch. The restart is going to be fierce.
We're watching Martin Moll in P3, pro driver holding a 0.4 second gap to Adam Tyus behind him as we prepare for this restart.
From P3, Moll will be looking to immediately challenge the front two. That small gap behind means he can't afford any mistakes on the restart.
Now with Jimmy Lindo in P13, a decent half-second gap to Nico Vaughn in P14 as the race prepares to go green again.
Get ready, safety car's clear.
Josh Mitchell is in P7, just 3/10 off Philip Kuntz in P6. A real battle shaping up there for that spot.
Green, 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 let's go.
The gap is closed even further. Josh Mitchell, now just 2/10 behind Philip Kuntz for P6.
He's really putting the pressure on. That's almost slipstream territory, which means he's right in Kuntz's mirrors, waiting for an opportunity.
That restart is going to be absolutely crucial for everyone, especially with the field so bunched up.
It's like a brand new race, but with everyone already warmed up and aggressive. You have to be decisive the second the green flag waves.
We're seeing some incredibly tight gaps across the field, just fractions of a second separating these drivers.
That's where the real chess game begins. You're constantly looking for that small opening, that slight mistake from the car ahead. It's exhilarating and terrifying all at once.
After such a long safety car period, the mental reset must be instant.
It has to be. You switch from cruise mode to full attack in a split second. Your focus needs to be absolute, especially when the field is this tight.
It's a thrilling pursuit, as Fat Dog Phil is right behind Dominic Fovargue, keeping the pressure on for 8th place. The gap has stretched out a bit there. Phil Bodkin remains in P9, but Dominic Fovargue now has a 0.7-second lead in P8.
Fovargue must have found some clear air, or perhaps Bodkin had a slight moment. Even a tiny error can create that much space at these speeds.
Things don't seem to be going Chris Stokes' way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
It's not over till the checkered flag drops, though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
No room for error here. Vaughn is breathing down the neck of Nigel, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. And Nico Vaughn has made the pass. He's into P12, with Nigel Walters right on his tail. A fantastic move. How do racing drivers like yourself back in the race guy train themselves to maintain concentration for long periods of time?
Mental training is a huge part of a driver's preparation, Hal. Techniques like meditation, visualization, and working with sports psychologists can help drivers build their mental endurance for a race.
James Allen is now in P16, just 2/10 off Tim Weller in P15. Another incredibly close battle.
He's got a fast car, and he's clearly pushing. That's prime attacking distance. He'll be looking to carry that momentum through the next few corners.
Oh, a moment there for James Allen. He's dropped to P17, now a second behind Tim Weller in P15. It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit. It's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Hal. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
James Allen is back on the hunt, just 3/10 behind Joe Lemrich in P16.
He's clearly recovered well from that earlier moment. That's the sign of a resilient driver, not letting a small setback deter him.
The gap to Joel Lemrich has edged out to 4/10 for James Allen in P17. He's still right there. Jareth Hallam is now in P5, just 3/10 behind Adam Tyus in P4, pushing hard. The gap has grown to 6/10 now between Jareth Hallam in P5 and Adam Tyus in P4. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We're truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
Philip Kuntz is battling in P7 through Acque Minerali, just 3/10 behind Josh Mitchell in P6. And Kuntz makes the pass. He's into P6, absolutely neck and neck with Josh Mitchell. Anyone who says that Virtual Velocity is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds, and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
Tim Weller in P15 is now just 3/10 behind Niall Gio-Keegan in P14. The gap is shrinking further. Tim Weller now only 2/10 off Niall Gio-Keegan in P14.
He's absolutely glued to his rear bumper. We could see a pass here very soon. The pressure is on for Gio-Keegan.
James Allen is still chasing Joel Limrich, just 3/10 back for P16. The gap remains at 3/10 for James Allen, still right on the tail of Joel Limrich for P16.
They're locked in a fierce duel. That kind of sustained pressure can sometimes force a mistake from the driver ahead.
Sky, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Hal. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire consumption. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
Martin Mol is absolutely flying. He's just a 10th behind Maximilian Turbin for P2. Slight breather there for Turbin. The gap to Martin Mol in P3 has extended to half a second. Jareth Hallam is still on the attack, 3/10 behind Adam Tyus for P4.
He's consistent, lap after lap. That's how you put pressure on and eventually force an opening. Tyus will be feeling the heat.
No change in the gap. Still 3/10 separating Jareth Hallam in P5 from Adam Tyus in P4.
This is an incredible game of cat and mouse. Neither driver is braking. They're both extracting everything from their cars.
Nico Vaughn is through Tosa, chasing Jimmy Lindo in P11, just 4/10 apart. The gap is down to 3/10. Nico Vaughn is closing in on Jimmy Lindo for P11. A huge change there. Nico Vaughn has dropped to P13, and the gap to Jimmy Lindo in P11 is now a massive 5.4 seconds.
He must have had a significant moment or run wide. To lose that much ground so quickly indicates a major error or a spin.
Philip Kuntz is now in P6, just 2/10 off Jareth Hallam in P5. This is getting intense. Still 2/10 between Philip Kuntz in P6 and Jareth Hallam in P5. This battle is absolutely long. Martin Mol holds P3, still half a second behind Maximilian Turbin in P2. That's a strong battle. The gap has closed slightly, just 4/10 now between Martin Mol in P3 and Maximilian Turbin in P2. Martin has been competing at VVS for over 5 years now, which makes him one of the veterans on the grid.
Always nice to see him compete. He has really proven to be a great driver over the years.
Martin Mol is still in P3. holding that half-second gap to Maximilian Turbin in P2. It seems like Martin Moll is pushing. They are on to recording their best lap so far this race.
Can Martin Moll keep it together?
Nico Vaughn is in P13, 4 tenths behind Nigel Walters in P12, looking to recover some ground.
He's trying to make up for that earlier moment. Consistency is going to be key for him now to close that gap and make a move.
The gap is down to 3 tenths. Nico Vaughn is now just behind Nigel Walters for P12. Adam Tyus is in P5, just 3 tenths back from Jareth Hallam in P4. The gap remains 3 tenths for Adam Tyus, still hot on the heels of Jareth Hallam for P4. A significant change there. Adam Tyus has dropped to P6, now almost 2 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in P4. Nico Vaughn is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. With just 0.3 seconds between them, will Vaughn be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
Darren Nickel in P18 is now just 3 tenths behind James Allen in P17. The gap has opened slightly to half a second between Darren Nickel in P18 and James Allen in P17. The track conditions are looking good here today. The drivers will be able to push the cars to the limit, and it's going to make for some exciting racing. Tim Weller has just pulled into the pits from P14, a strategic move with 20 minutes remaining. Nico Vaughn through Tamburello, still P13, 3 tenths behind Nigel Walters in P12. The gap is just opened to 4 tenths between Nico Vaughn in P13 and Nigel Walters in P12. Jamie Price is now in P9 through Akminerali, just 2 tenths off Dominic Fauvarg in P8.
He's really on a charge. That's a brave place to be so close. He's looking for that opportunity through the next complex. A massive gap has opened up. Jamie Price now almost 3 seconds behind Dominic Fauvarg in P8. He must have had a serious issue, perhaps a big lockup or a twitch through a corner. That's a huge amount of time to lose instantly.
Chris Stokes in P15, now 4 tenths behind Joel Lemrich in P14, still pushing hard. Huge drama there. Chris Stokes has dropped to P16, nearly 10 seconds behind Joel Lemrich in P14. More problems for Chris Stokes. He's now down to P17, a massive 16.2 seconds behind Joel Lemrich. Philip Kuntz is now in P5, 7 tenths behind Jareth Hallam in P4. A strong drive from him. The gap has closed slightly for Philip Kuntz, now just half a second behind Jareth Hallam for P4. Adam Tyus is in P9, just 0.2 ahead of Jimmy Lindo in P10, a very tight battle unfolding. The gap has stretched to 0.3 between Adam Tyus in P9 and Jimmy Lindo in P10. Jareth Hallam is now in P8, 1.4 seconds behind Dominic Fovard in P7, trying to make up ground. Huge problems for Jareth Hallam. He's dropped further back, now over 7 seconds behind Dominic Fovard in P7.
Something significant must have happened there. To lose that much time in one go suggests a spin or a major excursion off track.
Thomas Kruger-Dorado, our pole sitter, has just entered the pits from P3.
That's an interesting call this late in the race. He'll be hoping for a super fast stop to retain position or gain an advantage on fresh tires.
Chris Stokes is through Variante Alta in P16, half a second behind Niall Geoghegan in P15. A significant gap has opened up. Chris Stokes is now over 4 seconds behind Niall Geoghegan in P15.
He's really struggling to find consistency or perhaps has an issue with the car. That's a lot of time to lose without a clear incident.
Phil Bodkin has just entered the pits from P13, with 16 minutes left on the clock. Tim Weller in P19 is closing on Daniel Kosick in P18, just 0.4 apart. Tim Weller has made a move and gained a position, now in P18, with a 1.1 second gap to Daniel Kosick. Thomas Kruger-Dorado, after his pit stop, is now in P10, 1.2 seconds behind Nico Vaughn in P9. Kruger-Dorado is closing the gap, now only 0.7 behind Nico Vaughn for P9 after that pit stop.
Those fresh tires are clearly working. He's putting in strong laps to claw back that time. This is where a well-timed pit can really pay off.
You know, Sky, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in a race?
Sure, Hal. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
Thomas Kruger-Dorado has gained more positions, now in P8, just 0.6 behind Nico Vaughn in P7.
He's absolutely on a charge. That pit stop strategy is clearly paying dividends. He's making up incredible ground.
The tension is building as Niall trails behind Phil Bodkin. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Phil Bodkin hold on, or will Niall Geoghegan be able to close them down?
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Phil Bodkin is not going to give up the position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Niall Geoghegan in P14 doing everything they can to catch up.
Nico Vaughn is in P7, now with Thomas Kruger-Dorado just 0.3 behind him in P8.
He's definitely feeling the pressure from Kruger-Dorado. That's a huge talent behind him, and Vaughn will have to defend hard here.
Thomas Kruger-Dorado is through Ak Minerali, 0.5 off Nico Vaughn in P7. Kruger-Dorado makes the move. He's into P7, a brilliant overtake with Nico Vaughn just 0.1 behind.
What a superb move. He carried so much momentum through the previous corners, capitalized on it perfectly. That's the mark of a driver on a mission.
Nigel Walters is now in P8, half a second behind Nico Vaughn in P7. A massive gap has opened. Nigel Walters now nearly 5 seconds behind Nico Vaughn in P7. Nico Vaughn is in P7, now 2.1 seconds behind Thomas Kruger-Dorado in P6. Nico Vaughn has pulled into the pits from P8, a tactical call late in the race.
He's definitely gambling on fresh rubber paying off. It's a high-stakes move this close to the end, but it could vault him back up the order if he gets a clean run.
Joel Lemrich in P9 is 1.8 seconds behind James Allen in P8, pushing hard to close that gap.
He's got his work cut out for him, but with fresh tires, he might be able to find some extra pace. Every tenth matters now.
Nico Vaughn has completed his pit stop, rejoining the race in P15 with just 12 minutes left. Joel Lemrich in P9 is still 1.8 seconds behind James Allen in P8. Time is running out to close that gap. The gap has stretched to 1.9 seconds for Joel Lemrich, still chasing James Allen in P8. Thomas Kruger Dorado continues his charge, now in P6, 1.6 seconds behind Jimmy Lindo in P5.
He's really on a mission after that pit stop. He's got the pace, and he's hungry for more positions.
It's game on now. Thomas has closed the gap to Jimmy Lindo. It's now down to 0.9 seconds. Adam Tyus is in P13, 8/10 behind Jamie Price in P12, trying to make up ground. The gap remains 8/10 between Adam Tyus in P13 and Jamie Price in P12. Joel Lemrich has entered the pits from P12, a late strategic gamble with just 11 minutes remaining. Thomas Kruger Dorado is now just 4/10 behind Jimmy Lindo for P5. What a recovery drop.
He's absolutely flying. Lindo is going to have to be perfect from here on out to hold off the charging Ferruccio.
He's done it. Thomas Kruger Dorado takes P5 from Jimmy Lindo. Incredible drive.
What a move. He saw the opportunity and seized it. That's a testament to his class and the power of that Ferruccio on fresh tires.
Jimmy Lindo is now in P6, 6/10 behind Thomas Kruger Dorado in P5, trying to respond. The gap has doubled. Jimmy Lindo is now 1.2 seconds behind Thomas Kruger Dorado in P5.
Kruger Dorado is just finding another gear. Once he clears a car, he just pulls away. He's really maximizing that tire advantage.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Tyus will need to keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Adam Tyus in 12th determined to catch up. But we know Price isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Adam Tyus is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
And Adam Tyus has made the pass. He's into P11, just a 10th ahead of Jamie Price. It's a game of inches now as Price tails Adam Tyus closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. Jamie Price retakes the position. He's into P11, absolutely bumper to bumper with Adam Tyus. Adam Tyus is back into P11. Jamie Price now 2/10 behind in P12. What a seesaw battle. Chris Stokes in P19 is 1.7 seconds behind Darren Nickel in P18, trying to recover. The gap is closed slightly for Chris Stokes, now 1.6 seconds behind Darren Nickel in P18. Maximilian Turbin has just pitted from P2, a very late stop with only 8 minutes remaining. Jamie Price is now in P14, just 2/10 behind Tim Weller in P13. Jamie Price has gained a position now in P13, 4/10 behind Tim Weller in P12.
He's definitely found some pace. To make that move and then immediately close on the next car, he's on a charge.
Maximilian Turbin rejoins in P4 after his pit stop, 1.3 seconds ahead of Jimmy Lindo in P5. A quick change there. Maximilian Turbin has dropped to P5, now a second behind Jimmy Lindo in P4. Nigel Walters has entered the pits from P9, a very late pit stop strategy.
This is a big gamble. With so little time left, he's banking on those fresh tires to give him a massive advantage in the final laps to make up lost ground.
James Allen is in P7, half a second behind Philip Kuntz in P6. He's closing in.
He's really found his rhythm here. That half-second gap is definitely within striking distance over these final laps.
The gap has stretched to 9/10 for James Allen, still chasing Philip Kuntz in P6. You know, Sky, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, Hal, it comes down to mental strength and training. Drivers often work with sports psychologists and practice techniques like meditation and visualization to help them stay calm and focused during high-pressure situations.
Jamie Price in P13, 4/10 behind Tim Weller in P12, making a charge. The gap is down to 3/10. Jamie Price is right on Tim Weller's tail for P12. The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track.
It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics, but we all know that's impossible. Or is it? I mean, we're a couple of AI commenting on a race. Anything can happen.
Haha, you have a point there. And speaking of pushing limits, these cars are breaking records left and right.
They're so fast, it's like they're breaking the sound barrier, or at least the speed limit.
I hope the police aren't watching. Jamie Price is now just 2/10 behind Tim Weller in P12. Right there. Jamie Price makes the move. He's into P12 with a 6/10 lead over Tim Weller. Sky, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Hal. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
Phil Bodkin is now in P9, just a 10th behind James Allen in P8, an absolute classic. The gap has stretched to 3/10 between Phil Bodkin in P9 and James Allen in P8. Martin Moll, our race leader, has just entered the pits. A late race leader's gamble. Phil Bodkin is through Ake Minerali in P8, 4/10 behind James Allen in P7. Phil Bodkin has dropped to P9, now 6/10 behind James Allen in P8.
He's really having to work hard there. The tires might be starting to go off, or perhaps Allen is just finding some extra pace in these final minutes.
Phil Bodkin has recovered and is now in P8, just 3/10 behind James Allen in P7.
Incredible resilience. He's not giving up on that position. This shows how much these drivers want every single point.
Darren Nicole is now in P19, just a 10th off Chris Stokes in P18, bumper to bumper. Darren Nicole has made the pass, now in P18, with a 1.1 second gap to Chris Stokes in P17.
He really found an opening there. To pull a gap like that so quickly means he had a clean, decisive move, and Stokes might have lost momentum.
Jimmy Lindo has pitted from P10. Another late call to the pits.
This is really daring. With so few minutes left, he's banking everything on a super fast stop and an aggressive outlap to make up the lost ground.
Philip Kuntz is now in P5, just a 10th behind Josh Mitchell in P4. What a battle for that position. The gap is just opened to 2/10 between Philip Kuntz in P5 and Josh Mitchell in P4. Let's talk about tire degradation, Sky. How does it affect the car's handling, and what do drivers need to do to adapt to the changing conditions?
Tire degradation can significantly impact handling, Hal. As the tires wear, the grip reduces, and drivers need to adjust their braking points, cornering speeds, and throttle application to maintain control of the car.
Jamie Price is now in P11, just 3/10 behind Jimmy Lindo in P10.
Lindo's outlap after the pit stop must have been very quick, but Price is matching his pace. This could be another last lap battle.
Fantastic move from Jamie Price, who has just gained a position.
Yes, Price is driving with real precision, and it's paying off.
It's a brilliant day for racing here at Imola, OSRW. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
Niall Keegan in P17 is chasing Joel Lemrick in P16. 6/10 is the gap. The gap is close to 5/10 to Niall Keegan, still on the tail of Joel Lemrich for P16. Martin Moll is through Aquinarali and holding P1, but Thomas Kruger-Dorado is just 3/10 behind in P2.
This is it. Kruger-Dorado's late pit stop has paid off handsomely. He's on the leader's tail in the final minutes. What a comeback.
Huge drama. Martin Moll has dropped to P3, and Thomas Kruger-Dorado has taken the lead by over 7 seconds.
Oh my word, what happened there? That's a massive shift at the front. Moll must have had a major incident or a very costly mistake to lose that much time in position so suddenly.
Daniel Kosick in P20 is half a second behind Darren Nickel in P19. A late battle here. Daniel Kosick has made the pass. He's into P19 with Darren Nickel right on his bumper. Joel Lemrich in P17 is just 3/10 behind Niall Keegan in P16. The gap is stretched to 7/10 between Joel Lemrich in P17 and Niall Keegan in P16.
Keegan must have responded well to that pressure, found some extra pace to pull away a little.
Jareth Hallam is in P12, 1.3 seconds behind Tim Weller in P11, trying to close down that gap. The gap has stretched a bit more. Jareth Hallam now 1.4 seconds behind Tim Weller in P11. Nigel Walters is now in P14, 8/10 behind Jimmy Lindo in P13, a late push for positions. Nigel Walters has made the pass for P13. He's pulled out a 1.2 second lead on Jimmy Lindo.
What a move! He really capitalized on that late pit stop. Those fresh tires are clearly giving him a huge advantage in these final moments.
Adam Tyus is now in P9, just 3/10 behind James Allen in P8. Another close one. Adam Tyus takes P8 from James Allen. Absolutely side-by-side, fantastic racing.
That was incredibly gutsy. Right down to the wire for that position. Neither driver was willing to back down.
Dominic Thobard is in P6, half a second behind Josh Mitchell in P5, pushing to make up ground. The gap has closed dramatically. Dominic Fovarg now just 2/10 behind Josh Mitchell for P5. He's done it. Dominic Fovarg takes P5 from Josh Mitchell. Absolutely brilliant.
What a move! He picked his moment perfectly. To make that pass stick in these closing laps is superb driving.
Thomas Kruger-Dorado is leading this race, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, with Maximilian Turbin 0.8 seconds behind.
What an incredible turnaround for Kruger-Dorado. From a pit stop to the lead in these closing moments, it's been an astonishing drive.
And Thomas Kruger-Dorado crosses the line. What a race! From pole through a pit stop to take the victory.
An absolutely phenomenal performance. That strategy, that pace, that comeback after the pit stop. He earned that win. An incredible drive.
Maximilian Turbin crosses the line to secure second place. A strong drive from his starting position.
He held his own incredibly well. Starting second and finishing second, despite all the chaos, shows remarkable consistency and car control.
Martin Moll comes across the line in third place. From P3 on the grid, he finishes on the podium.
He had to fight hard for that, especially after the late race drama. A podium is always a fantastic result. Great resilience shown there.
And across the line for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, we have Philip Koons, Dominic Fovergue, Josh Mitchell, and Phil Bodkin. Finishing 8th is Adam Tyus, followed by James Allen in 9th, Jamie Price in 10th, and Tim Weller in 11th.
A fantastic scramble for points in that mid-pack. Every one of those drivers pushed hard right to the end.
Jareth Hallam finishes 12th, Nigel Walters 13th, Nico Vaughn 14th, and Daniel Koksis comes home in 19th position. Niall Giagigan takes 15th, Joel Limrich 16th, Darren Nickel crosses in 20th, and Aidan McKenna finishes 21st.
Every single one of those drivers battled hard. It was a race full of challenges and some truly great moments.
And finally, Chris Stokes finishes 17th, with Jimmy Lindo in 18th. practice session continues with just under 9 minutes remaining as teams fine-tune their setups.
This is where you're really trying to dial in the car, feeling for any balance issues, and making those small adjustments that make a huge difference come race day.
Daniel Coaches is yet to register a lap time as we approach the final 8 minutes of practice.
He's likely just doing install laps or an aero check. I remember days where we'd spend the first part of practice just gathering data before really going for a push.
Darren Nichols still hasn't posted a lap time as the clock ticks down under 7 minutes for this practice session. Jamie Price remains without a lap time as we get down to the final 5.5 minutes of practice.
Sometimes you just need that extra time to find the rhythm of the track, or perhaps they're testing a new component that requires a specific run plan.
Aiden McKenna is still to set a timed lap with just over 5 minutes left in this practice session. Welcome to Imola OSRW. The grid is set and a 12-knot wind is whipping across the circuit as we await the start. Darren Nicol, the UK driver in the GT Lanzo V12, an AM-class competitor, is poised in second place on the grid.
Just behind him, in third, we have Daniel Kosic from Hungary, also in a GT Lanzo V12, a Pro-Am driver. That's going to be a fascinating battle straight out of the blocks.
Fourth on the grid is Jimmy Lindo, driving the GT Shadow V8, another Pro-Am.
The Shadow V8 is a different beast to the Lanzo, a bit more agile in the corners. I've always found it demands a very precise touch on the throttle, especially coming out of the chicanes here at Imola.
And in fifth, we have Chris Stokes from England in another GT Shadow V8, a pro-class driver.
Stokes being a pro driver in that Shadow V8 could really shake things up. Knowing the car, he'll be looking to leverage its strength in the technical sections. I always felt you could really attack with that chassis.
Further back in seventh, we find Niall Geoghegan from Ireland, an AM-class driver also piloting a GT Shadow V8.
Seventh is a challenging starting position, but with the Shadow V8's agility, he might be able to pick off some places in the early laps. You really need to be aggressive but smart from that mid-grid position.
Nigel Walters, another UK driver, starts from ninth in his GT Shadow V8, an AM-class entrant. Gareth Hallam from the United Kingdom is in 10th, driving a GT Ferruccio 55 V12, a Pro-Am driver.
The Ferruccio 55 V12 is a powerful car, quite different from the Lanzas and Shadows. From 10th, it's all about managing that power and getting a clean run through T1. I found it can be quite a handful if you're not precise on cold tires.
Jamie Price, another Pro-Am driver in a GT Ferruccio 55 V12, is set to start from 12th on the grid.
12th is a tough place to start, right in the thick of it. With the Ferruccio's power, it's crucial to avoid any first-lap chaos and get a strong drive through the field.
Adam Tyus, an AM-class driver from England, is in the Ferruccio 55 V12, starting from 13th. Phil Bodkin, another AM driver from England, lines up in 14th position, also in a GT Ferruccio 55 V12.
That's 4 Ferruccios clustered around the mid-grid now. It's going to be interesting to see if they can work together or if it'll be every driver for themselves into the first turn. I remember being in that position. You really have to pick your battles.
Dominic Fovarg from the United Kingdom, a Pro-Am driver in a GT Lanzo V12, starts from 16th. In 17th, we have Philipp Kuntz from Germany, a pro-class driver in a GT Lanzo V12. Martin Mol from the Netherlands, a pro-class driver, starts from 18th in a GT Shadow V8. And we are underway, but it's a formation lap under the safety car to begin with.
This gives everyone a chance to warm their tires and brakes properly, crucial for a circuit like Imola. It's not a relaxed lap, though. You're already thinking about the race start.
The cars are strung out behind the safety car now, lights flashing as they circulate the Imola circuit.
This is where you're really trying to get a feel for the track conditions, especially with that wind. I'd be checking my mirrors, looking for any twitchiness in the car, trying to build temperature without overheating the rears.
The field is holding its order perfectly behind the safety car, a calm before the storm on this Imola circuit. Every driver will be mentally rehearsing their start, especially those further back, looking for any advantage.
This is where you're fine-tuning everything, getting the tire pressures just right, feeling for grip. You want to hit that green light with absolute confidence. I'd be paying close attention to the track surface. Any marbles, any damp patches, getting the car ready to launch.
Cars are snaking through the corners now, maintaining that distance, waiting for the green flag to truly drop. That wind we mentioned earlier, 12 knots, will certainly be a factor for these drivers once they're pushing.
You're constantly working the steering wheel, trying to keep heat in the tires, especially the fronts. It's a delicate balance on a formation lap. I'd be checking my brake bias setting again, making sure it's perfect for that first hard braking zone. Every detail counts.
Safety car in this lap.
The tension is palpable, even on this formation lap, every driver knowing what's at stake once the safety car pulls in.
This is the moment to truly connect with the car, to feel every input. Because when the race starts, it's instinct and preparation that take over.
They're nearing the end of this formation lap now, the anticipation building throughout the field.
My mind would be entirely focused on the perfect launch right now, hitting my marks precisely, feeling for that engagement point.
The safety car lights are out. It's heading for the pit lane now, meaning we're just moments away from the green flag. This is it. The field is tightening up, ready to explode into action at Imola.
Every driver will be on the limiter now, clutch in, focused on the lights. That's the most intense moment, feeling the power ready to be unleashed. You're listening to every engine note, feeling the car beneath you. I always
Green, 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 let's go.
Ready to react.
The lights are out and we are green. The Imola OSRW race is officially underway.
Oh, the roar of those engines. Everyone's pushing for that first corner. It's a critical moment for gaining position early. You just have to commit.
Daniel Kosick remains in third, but a significant change sees Chris Stokes right on his tail, now in fourth. Just 0.3 seconds separates them.
Stokes has made a great start to pick up that position. He'll be putting immense pressure on Kosick. From experience, P3 and P4 on the first lap is absolutely frantic. Every inch counts.
A big shake-up here. Daniel Kosick has dropped a spot to fourth, but even more dramatically, Chris Stokes has fallen back to 10th. The gap between them is now a substantial 3 seconds.
That's a major loss of ground for Stokes. Losing 6 places on the opening lap usually means either a wide moment, a very defensive line, or perhaps getting caught out in traffic. I know how quickly things can unravel in that mid-pack scramble.
Down in 20th, Maximilian Turbin is holding off Thomas Kruger. Just 0.2 seconds between them on this opening lap, with 25 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Maximilian Turbin remains in 20th, with the gap to Thomas Kruger Dorado ahead has stretched slightly to 0.4 seconds.
That's a small but important change. Kruger Dorado seems to be finding a rhythm and pulling away. On cold tires, even a tenth can feel like a mile if you're struggling for grip.
Martin Mull is up to 15th in his GT Shadow V8, holding off Thomas Kruger Dorado by 0.4 seconds, posting a 3:09.657 on this first lap.
A 0.4 second gap on lap 1 is nothing. Mull will need to be very precise. I remember those early laps. You're constantly defending, looking for clean air while still trying to push.
And we have a safety car. Yellow flags are out across the circuit, call for a big incident. The field will now bunch up behind the safety car. This changes everything for strategy.
A big incident so early in the race can reset the entire field. You have to be so careful in those opening laps. This is where patience is key, but also preparing for the restart. You need to keep those tire temperatures up and stay focused.
A safety car so early, that's really going to shuffle the deck. All that hard work for some drivers in the first few corners, now reset.
It's always frustrating to see the safety car come out when you've just made up positions, but it's also an opportunity. You have to be ready to pounce on the restart.
Indeed, it's a mental game now. Staying sharp, keeping the focus while circulating slowly.
Absolutely. I always use these moments to reevaluate my lines, check my mirrors, and prepare for the sprint when the green flag drops again. It's a skill in itself, keeping the tires warm without overheating them.
And for those who perhaps lost places, like Chris Stokes earlier, this is a lifeline, a chance to get back in contention.
Exactly. It's a clean slate for many. The race hasn't truly begun until we go green again, in my opinion.
More yellow flags. The safety car is definitely out. A significant incident has brought us under caution.
This confirms it then. Drivers will be bracing for the restart, but first, the cleanup needs to happen. It's a real test of composure.
Safety car in this lap.
This safety car has truly reset the race. All the early gains and losses now largely nullified as the field bunches up.
It's a frustrating situation if you've had a strong start, but as a driver, you immediately shift your mindset. You look for the opportunities to restart with ground.
For someone like Chris Stokes, who lost significant ground early, this must feel like a massive second chance to get back into contention.
Absolutely, it's a lifeline. I've been in races where an early safety car saved my skin after a tricky first lap. You just have to regroup and be ready for the green.
The Imola circuit itself, with its fast sections and demanding chicanes, what kind of restart is required here?
It demands precision. You have to nail the acceleration.
Get ready, safety
but
car's clear.
Be thinking about the braking zone for T1. There's little margin for error, especially on cold tires.
And that 12-knot wind we mentioned earlier, will that come into play when they finally go racing again?
It definitely will. A crosswind can be very unsettling through the high-speed
Green,
turns.
green, green, let's
It's about
go.
feeling the car, adjusting your steering input subtly, even on the straights.
We have a mix of GT Lanzo, Shadow, and Ferruccio cars out there. Does this safety car period favor any particular car's characteristics for the restart?
The cars with better low-speed traction can definitely benefit, but it's more about the driver's ability to warm the tires effectively during these laps. Each car has its quirks on cold rubber.
So it truly becomes a test of the driver's composure and adaptability more than ever.
Precisely. It's not just about speed anymore. It's about strategy, patience, and anticipating the exact moment to launch your attack. Every driver will be thinking about how to exploit the chaos of the restart.
The safety car is heading into the pits. Get ready. The race is about to restart at Imola.
This is it. The moment everyone's been waiting for. You've got to be absolutely focused now, watching the leader, feeling for that surge. This is where races are won and lost.
Daniel Kosick, now in 17th, has Jamie Price right on his bumper, only 0.1 seconds separating them on lap 3. Kosick's last lap, a 2:41.602, with 21 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Adam Tyus is pushing hard through Acque Minerale in 6th, just 0.3 seconds behind Phil Bodkin in 5th on lap 3. Tyus' best lap, a 1:54.943. Adam Tyus remains in 6th, but Phil Bodkin has jumped ahead to 4th position, now with a 0.7 second lead over Tyus.
Bodkin clearly had a fantastic restart, picking up places. That's a significant gap to open up in a short space of time. Tyus will have to dig deep to close that gap.
Corsa is dropping only close to 18th on lap 3, now 1.4 seconds behind Maximilian Turbin on 17th.
Corsa seems to be really struggling to find his rhythm after that safety car restart. Dropping further back and seeing the gap grow like that indicates he's not quite dialed in yet. That's a tough pill to swallow early on.
Remarkable turnaround for Daniel Kosick. He's gained a position, now in 17th, and Maximilian Turbin, previously ahead, is now well behind in 19th by 7.7 seconds.
Wow, that's a huge swing. Kosick must have found some serious pace, or Turbin encountered an issue. To open up a 7.7 second gap, that quickly suggests a major moment for Turbin, perhaps a spin or a big lockup. You don't lose that kind of time without something going wrong.
Jimmy Lindo is in 2nd place on lap 4, with Chris Stokes now a close 3rd, just 0.6 seconds separating them. Lindo's best lap is a 1:48.572.
Stokes has recovered incredibly well after his early struggles. To be P3 and challenging for 2nd place so quickly after the restart shows fantastic pace and determination. He's really pushing that Shadow V8.
Martin Moll holds 11th on lap 4, with Nico Vaughn right on his tail, just 0.1 seconds back. Moll's last lap, a 1:51.005.
That 0.1 second gap is nothing. Moll is under immense pressure right now. He'll have to drive defensively but cleanly. It's a knife-edge battle.
Philip Kuntz is running in 7th, closing in on Josh Mitchell in 6th, the gap at 0.4 seconds on lap 4. Kuntz's best lap, a 1:49.473.
Kuntz is really pushing. That's a good lap time. He's clearly found some pace in that Lanzo. Closing a 0.4 second gap takes commitment and precision. He's looking to make a move.
Philip Kuntz has gained a position, now in 6th, but the gap to Josh Mitchell in 5th has stretched slightly to 0.6 seconds. Adam Tyus is now in 16th, just 0.2 seconds behind Maximilian Turbin in 15th on lap 4. Tyus' last lap was 1:50.365. Tyus remains in 16th, but Maximilian Turbin has pulled further ahead into 13th, now with a 1.1 second advantage. Adam Tias has gained a position to 15th, but the gap to Maximilian Turbin, still in 13th, has increased slightly to 1.4 seconds. Stokes has suffered a major setback, now in 16th position and 0.4 seconds behind Adam Tias and 15th on lap 5.
That's a massive loss of places for Stokes after his brilliant recovery. He'd been looking so strong and third. Losing that much ground in a single lap suggests a significant amount, perhaps a spin or a trip off the circuit. It's incredibly frustrating when you're making progress and then something like that happens.
Maximilian Turbin is up to 12th, just 0.2 seconds behind Nico Vaughn in 11th on lap 5. Turbin setting his best lap at a 1:43.264.
Turbin is really on the top. That's a rapid lap. Being only 0.2 seconds back means he's absolutely in the slipstream, looking for an opportunity. You have to be incredibly patient, but also ready to attack when the car ahead makes the slightest mistake.
Philip Kuntz is now in 4th, pushing hard to catch Phil Bodkin in 3rd. The gap's 0.4 seconds on lap 6. Philip Kuntz is closing in on Phil Bodkin. The gap now just 0.2
Yellow flag,
seconds
safety
as
car's
Kuntz
out.
maintains 4th. And the safety car's out again. Another big incident brings out the yellow flags at Imola. This race just keeps on delivering drama. A second safety car to bunch the field once more.
You've got to be kidding me. This changes everything again. Drivers who just gained positions will be furious. But for those who lost ground, it's another chance. Keeping tire temperature now for a second time will be a real challenge for everyone out there. It's a mental game as much as a physical one.
Two safety cars already. This race is proving incredibly unpredictable, completely shaking up the established order each time.
It's incredibly disruptive, especially if you're in a good rhythm. But for some, it's a lifeline. You have to adapt instantly, reset your strategy, and focus on the next restart.
We've seen such swings in fortune already. Chris Stokes, for example, had that great recovery only to fall back again. This safety car could be his chance once more.
That's exactly it. As a driver, you're constantly weighing the pros and cons. You get frustrated, but you also see the opportunity to gain places again. It's an emotional roller coaster.
The pressure on the race leader, whoever it may be when the safety car pulls in, must be immense, knowing the entire field is breathing down their neck.
Oh, it absolutely is. You're trying to control the pace, break the toe for the cars behind, but also keep your own tires alive. I remember those moments. Every single nerve is firing.
Unbelievable. The safety car is out for a third time due to another significant incident. This is becoming a race defined by caution periods. The field bunching up yet again.
This is incredibly unusual, 3 safety cars, in such a short space of time. It really tells you how challenging conditions or perhaps the racing has been out there. For the drivers, it's a test of mental fortitude now. Resetting, refocusing, and trying to keep heat in the tires without abusing them. I can tell you, it's not easy.
Three safety cars. I don't think I've seen a race quite like this for a long time. It's absolute chaos out there.
This is an endurance race for patience more than speed at this point. 3 restarts mean 3 opportunities, but also 3 moments of high risk. You have to be ready for anything.
It's fascinating how it completely nullifies an advantage. Someone could build a 5-second lead, and then it's gone in an instant.
Exactly. You learn to race to the safety car. You push hard, but always with the knowledge that it could all be reset. I remember planning my moves, knowing a yellow flag could come out at any moment.
We've seen drivers like Chris Stokes go from 3rd, drop back, fight forward, and now face another reset. It must be incredibly frustrating.
It is, but it also lights a fire under you. You know you have the pace, so this is another chance to prove it. The strategy completely shifts to maximizing the restart every time.
And for those further back, is this a dream scenario, just waiting for a lucky break to jump up the order?
It can be, yes. If you're struggling for outright pace, a safety car gives you a chance to cling on and maybe gain some spots in the melee of the restart. It brings everyone into play.
The cumulative effect of these restarts, how does that impact the cars themselves beyond just tire temps?
Brakes become a big concern. You're constantly heating and cooling them, which can lead to wear or even blasting. And the engine components, going from slow speed cruising to full throttle repeatedly, it puts stress on everything.
So it's not just the drivers being tested, but the machinery too. A true test of endurance then, despite the caution periods.
Absolutely. Every time we go green, it's like the first lap all over again, but with less time on the clock. It's intense, physically and mentally demanding, even under the safety car.
Unbelievable. Yet another significant incident, and the safety car is out for the 4th time in this race.
This is becoming a race of restarts. The drivers will be asking themselves what they need to do to get some consistent green flag running.
Four safety cars. This is truly extraordinary. The race has barely seen sustained green flag running.
This is beyond frustrating as a driver. Every time you try to build momentum, it's ripped away. We're constantly having to adapt to new situations.
It's making for incredible drama, but also an immense challenge for these drivers to maintain focus through so many caution periods.
Your mind has to be razor sharp. I'd be running through every scenario for the next restart, trying to predict where the gaps will open up. It's a completely different kind of racing.
Any chance of fatigue starting to set in for drivers, even with the slower speeds?
Absolutely. The mental strain is immense. You're anticipating, you're reacting, you're constantly working the wheel to keep heat in the tires. It's not a break, it's just a different kind of intensity.
Incredible. The safety car's out for a 5th time. This is unprecedented.
5 safety cars in this race. It's just mind-boggling. This is truly testing every driver's mental game and strategy to its absolute limit.
Five safety cars. I'm genuinely struggling to recall a race with this many caution periods. It's truly astonishing.
This isn't just a race anymore. It's a test of mental endurance. Every time you think you've got a handle on it, the safety car pulls you back in. My head would be spinning out there.
It's creating a very fragmented race. Any rhythm a driver tries to build is immediately broken, forcing them to reevaluate constantly.
Exactly. You're constantly calculating risk versus reward for the next restart. I remember one race where a similar pattern emerged.
Safety car in this lap.
Their head and manage the tires through endless restarts.
And the impact on the cars themselves, having to accelerate and brake hard so many times after cooling down.
It's brutal on the brakes, absolutely punishing. You get brake fade, tire graining, the engine temperatures fluctuate. Everything is pushed to its limits. Not by consistent hard running, but by these stop-start bursts.
So for the remaining minutes, this truly is a survival race, adapting to whatever Imola throws at them.
It really is. The driver who can stay calm, keep the tires alive, and nail the final restart is going to be the one to watch. It's a race for the most adaptable, not necessarily the fastest today.
This must be incredibly frustrating for the race leader, whoever they are, to keep losing their hard-earned lead.
Oh, it's infuriating. You're building a gap, feeling strong, and then boom, safety car. But as a professional, you can't let that show.
Get ready,
You just
safety
have to
car's clear.
refocus and prepare for the next battle.
It almost feels like a brand new sprint race every few laps, doesn't it?
That's a great way to put it. It's a series of short sprints, each one carrying immense pressure, rather than one continuous flow. This is a very unusual challenge for these drivers.
Green, 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 let's go.
The safety car is finally heading for the pits again. Prepare for another restart here at Imola. Jamie Price is now in 8th on lap 9, just 0.1 seconds behind Thomas Kruger Dorado in 7th, with Price's best lap at 1:45.389 in 9 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Daniel Kozik is in 11th on lap 9, with Nico Vaughn right on his gearbox, a 0.0 second gap as they battle for position with 9 minutes plus 1 lap remaining.
Unbelievable. Daniel Kozik has moved up to 10th, but Nico Vaughn has dropped massively, now in 19th and 10.3 seconds behind. That's a catastrophic loss of time and positions for Vaughn. Something must have gone seriously wrong there.
Phil Bodkin is in 9th, battling with Dominic Fovarg in 8th, a 0.3 second gap on lap 9, Bodkin's best, a 1:45.258, with 8 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Phil Bodkin remains in 9th, but Dominic Fovarg has edged out to a 0.4 second lead ahead in 8th. What a race this is turning out to be. The sheer number of safety cars has turned what should have been a normal flow into a series of frantic sprints.
It's incredibly challenging. Every time the safety car comes in, it's like a brand new start. You're trying to keep the tires warm, nail the throttle, and then immediately adjust for traffic. The mental strain is immense.
We've seen huge swings of position for drivers like Daniel Kozik, going from 18th to 10th in a flash, and Nico Vaughn dropping way back. It's truly unpredictable.
That's a direct result of these restarts. One moment of hesitation or a slight misjudgment can cost you multiple places, especially in the mid-pack. I remember how brutal those first few corners after a restart could be.
With only a few minutes plus 1 lap left, how do the drivers approach this now? Is it all out attack?
It has to be. There's no time left to be conservative. But it's a calculated attack. You have to balance aggression with keeping the car on track. The risk of another incident is always there, even more so when everyone's pushing this hard.
Tim Weller is in 13th on lap 10, just 0.2 seconds behind Aiden McKenna in 12th, with 7 minutes plus 1 lap still to go. Tim Weller remains in 13th, but Aiden McKenna has extended his lead to 0.7 seconds in 12th position. Thomas Kruger Dorado is now up to 4th, applying pressure to Darren Nicole in 3rd. The gap just 0.3 seconds on lap 10, with 6 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Thomas Kruger Dorado has jumped into 3rd position. Darren Nicole is now behind him in 4th, just 0.1 seconds separating them. What a phenomenal move from Thomas Kruger Dorado, snatching 3rd from Darren Nicole just then. That's late race aggression.
Absolutely, that's commitment. In these final minutes, with so many restarts having bunched the field, every overtake feels like a win in itself. You have to take those chances.
It's amazing how this race, despite all the safety cars, has become so intense right at the end.
The restarts fuel that intensity. Every time the green flag drops, it's like the first lap all over again, but with less and less track time left. The pressure is immense.
The drivers who can manage their frustration and maintain focus through all these interruptions are truly standing out.
They really are. It's a testament to their mental strength. I know how much it takes to keep your head cool when the race keeps getting thrown on its head.
Maximilian Turbin is now in 6th, only 0.2 seconds behind Dominic Fovarg in 5th on lap 11, with 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Maximilian Turbin holds 6th, but Dominic Fovarg has extended his lead slightly to 0.3 seconds in 5th. John Boontakis is in 13th on lap 11, chasing Aiden McKenna in 12th, a 0.4 second gap, with Boontakis setting his best lap at a 1:45.563.
Boontakis is really pushing there. That's a good lap time. He'll be using every inch of the circuit to close that gap to McKenna. It's all about finding that perfect line and maximizing exit speed in these final minutes.
John Boontakis is closing rapidly on Aiden McKenna, the gap now a mere 0.1 seconds. Boontakis still in 13th.
He's right there now. Boontakis is ready to make a move. This is where you have to be decisive. You're feeling the slipstream, looking for that braking zone to open up a chance.
Dominic Fovarg is in 5th, just 0.4 seconds behind Jamie Price in 4th on lap 11, with 4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining.
Fovarg is absolutely pushing to close that gap. Price will be looking in his mirrors, knowing he's under pressure. Every mistake from now on will be heavily punished.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. Phil Bodkin has made the move. He's into 10th position, with Tim Weller now just behind him in 11th, and literally no gap between them.
That's an incredible overtake, absolutely on the limit from Bodkin. Weller will be furious and looking for immediate retaliation. You can't get any closer than a 0.0 second gap. That's wheel-to-wheel stuff.
Tim Weller is in 11th on lap 12, now 0.2 seconds behind Phil Bodkin in 10th, having just set his best lap at 1:46.766. Dorado remains in 11th, with Phil Bodkin now stretching his lead to 0.4 seconds in 10th. This race has really come alive in these final stages. Despite all the safety cars, the battles are just incredible, especially that Phil Bodkin move on Tim Weller.
That was classic, door-to-door racing. It shows the drivers are still absolutely committed, even after so many restarts. My heart rate would be through the roof right now.
The way the gaps are fluctuating, a 10th here, a 10th there, it's making every corner count.
Every single one. You're searching for grip, pushing the limits, knowing any small error can cost you a position you've fought so hard for. It's a knife edge out there.
And with the clock ticking down, it's becoming a true sprint to the finish now. No more chances for another reset.
Exactly. This is where experience and pure aggression meet. Whoever holds their nerve best in these final moments will come out on top. It's pure racing now.
Martin Mol is running a strong second on lap 13, closing the gap to leader Philip Kuntz to just 0.3 seconds. Mol setting his best lap at a blistering 1:42.665. Unbelievable. Martin Mol has taken the lead. He's now in first position, having overtaken Philip Kuntz, who is now a full second behind in second.
What a move from Mol. To not only take the lead, but immediately open a 1.0 second gap, that's incredibly decisive. He clearly nailed his braking point and exit perfectly, leaving Kuntz no chance to retaliate. That's how you win races.
Jimmy Lindo is in 14th on lap 13, now 0.7 seconds adrift of Nico Vaughn in 13th, with just moments left in this race.
Lindo has really dropped back after being so strong earlier. That gap of 0.7 seconds is tough to close in a few laps. He'll be pushing hard, but time is running out.
Jimmy Lindo remains in 14th, but has managed to shave a 10th off the gap to Nico Vaughn, now 0.6 seconds. Dominic Fovarg is in 5th, still chasing Jamie Price in 4th, the gap now 0.5 seconds on lap 13. Dominic Fovarg remains in 5th, but Jamie Price has extended his lead to 0.7 seconds in 4th.
Price is really trying to pull away now. That extra 0.2 seconds in such a short space of time is crucial. He's probably found a bit more pace through a tricky section, or Fovarg had a slight wobble.
Philip Kuntz is holding strong in second on lap 14, now with a 0.6 second buffer over Thomas Kruger-Dorado in third.
Kuntz is really digging deep to consolidate that second place. After losing the lead, he's focusing on managing that gap. This takes real discipline in these closing stages.
Jareth Hallam is in 7th on lap 14, chasing Adam Tyus in 6th, the gap 0.4 seconds. Hallam's best lap of 1:42.480.
Hallam is really on it. That 1:42.480 is a phenomenal lap time. If he keeps that pace, he's going to be right on Tyus' bumper very quickly. He's found something special in that Ferruccio.
Thomas Kruger-Dorado is holding third place on lap 14, chasing Philip Kuntz in second. The gap 0.6 seconds. Kruger-Dorado's best lap, now a 1:42.475. Thomas Kruger-Dorado is closing on Philip Kuntz, reducing the gap to 0.5 seconds in this battle for second place.
Kruger-Dorado is really pushing. He's chipped another 10th off that gap, which means he's found a small advantage somewhere. Kuntz will need to be absolutely perfect now. Any mistake, and Kruger-Dorado will be through.
Jareth Hallam is still in 7th on lap 15, now just 0.3 seconds behind Adam Tyus in 6th. Jareth Hallam remains in 7th, but Adam Tyus has managed to stretch his lead in 6th, the gap now at 0.5 seconds. Dominic Fovarg is in 5th on lap 15, now just 0.3 seconds behind Jamie Price in 4th, setting his best lap at 1:43.750. Dominic Fovarg is still in 5th, but Jamie Price ahead in 4th has extended his lead to 0.6 seconds. Daniel Kosick is in 12th, navigating the Tosa section, now 0.5 seconds behind Nico Vaughn in 11th on lap 15.
Kosick is pushing hard through Tosa, a tricky corner. He'll be trying to carry maximum speed through there to close that gap to Vaughn. Every 10th counts in these closing stages.
Martin Moll is in the lead, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, with Philip Kuntz 0.8 seconds behind him. Martin Moll crosses the line. What an incredible drive. He takes the win here at Imola OSRW.
From 19th on the grid to race winner. That is an absolutely phenomenal performance. A true masterclass in patience and aggression through all those safety cars. You have to be so focused to do that.
And Philip Kuntz takes 2nd place. A fantastic result, moving up from 18th on the grid.
Kuntz absolutely earned that P2. Starting 18th and finishing on the podium in a race like this, with so many disruptions, shows incredible consistency and skill. You have to thread the needle to gain that many positions.
Thomas Kruger Dorado finishes in 3rd place. What a drive, all the way from 21st on the grid to clinch a podium. Jamie Price crosses the line in 4th, followed by Dominic Fovarg in 5th, Adam Tyus in 6th, and Maximilian Turbin in 7th. Jareth Hallam takes 8th, Phil Bodkin 9th, Tim Weller crosses in 10th, and Nico Vaughn finishes in 11th.
What a battle through that midfield to the very end. So many drivers kept their heads through all those safety cars and fought for every position.
Jimmy Lindo takes 12th, Daniel Kosick finishes in 13th, and Josh Mitchell completes his race in 17th position.
For Jimmy Lindo, that's a tough finish, after being so high up earlier. This race really had it all, and proved how quickly fortunes can change.
Aidan McKenna and Darren Nickel end in 14th and 15th. Nigel Walters finishes his race in 16th position.
Even P16 in a race like this, with so many disruptions and challenges, is a hard-fought result. Every position earned here means you really had to dig deep.